100. I made it to 100. 100 cups. I thought, let's do something special for the 100th cup, but I couldn't land anyone. I mean, I reached out to Will Arnett. Will Arnett didn't get back to me. Jack Black, busy. Would have loved to have either Jack Black or Will Arnett on here. I thought of other creators in this space, but, to be honest, I kind of just wanted it to be us. To talk, to reflect on 100 cups of coffee that we have shared together. This started with me just sitting or standing and making a cup of coffee with no music, no overhead cam, and talking to the camera. A very, very interesting departure from my already very edited videos. I decided to do this because I had otherwise give up on my whole YouTube dream. I thought this is just too much. I'm not really doing what I want to do anymore, and this is kind of like my final Hail Mary, so to speak. And it ended up turning out to be one of, if not the best decisions I had. It created a tremendous amount of community between us all, and we've been hanging out in Discord, which is now members only. If you want to be a part of Discord, just become a dad, and you'll be given access to the members only Discord, which is a beautiful place. And in that place, we have, had really intense conversations, some about feelings of inadequacy, others of just pure joy and splendor, but most of all, we've been rediscovering this passion of video games. And as it pertains to that very passion, we've also been rediscovering what's necessary, or not rediscovering, but discovering rather, what's necessary to continue to enjoy that passion of video games. I know for me, it has gone from, Xbox was the primary place for this channel. Not for it, but that's what a lot of people here got to know me was for my views on the Xbox Series S. And the reason why is because I found an opportunity to cover a subject that I thought was very, very important, which was, hey, this seems like it's a system that's a less than, but really it's doing a great job. Anyway, I didn't have kids when I had one. I had one very small child, and everyone was stuck in their house, so I wasn't taking care of that child by myself throughout the day while my wife was at work. She was there, helping, taking care of the child during the day. And this was really where my heart was. The Nintendo Switch. This is my Genki case. If you want to know what this case is, yesterday's cup will teach it to you. This right here was where a lot of my excitement for gaming truly stemmed. I loved playing video games on my Nintendo Switch, and I thought for the longest time it was because it was Nintendo. Something that I have a tremendous amount of nostalgia for because my dad introduced me to Nintendo. I've been playing Mario, Zelda, Pokemon games my whole life. All this stuff with Nintendo. I have all these books behind me that you guys can't quite see. This is the NES and Famicom Visual Compendium, the N64 one. The N64 one I just got. This just released by Bitmap Books. This right here, this book, talk about a trip down memory lane. Right here we got Mario Party. This is Superman, the new Superman adventure. Not familiar with that. What's this? Fighting Force 64. The story of the N64 expansion pack. Donkey Kong 64. Hey, shots fired at Josie. Whoa, it's not a crappy game. It's actually a good game, dude. Fight me. Don't fight me. But fight me. Anyway, this is a cool book. My excitement for Nintendo was very, very deep, but what I didn't realize was my excitement for the Nintendo Switch, especially as a dad, wasn't because it was a Nintendo product. Though there was a lot of excitement around the Mario and Zelda games that had come out for the thing. It was actually because it was portable. And that was something that allowed me to continue down this path of being a gaming dad without being restricted to the very room that my gaming device was tied to. I was able to play video games on the couch with my wife. I was able to play video games while holding my child while they were sleeping, whether it was my boy or my girl. This allowed me to do that. But as the years went on, there's not much to talk about anymore. If we're being honest, we're just kind of waiting for the next version of this guy. Now, I still use it. I actually just started using it again, and it is a beautiful piece. I like my Nintendo Switch quite a bit. But what ended up happening was I needed more. I needed more gaming. I needed more games that really were geared towards me, 35-year-old dad looking for some pretty good story-driven single-player pieces. I felt a little bit left out to dry from my Tears of the Kingdom experience, though it was great and I really, really loved the ending and I thought it was a wonderful game. It still left me feeling like there was something missing. I wanted more out of my gaming experience. It just didn't sing to me like some other games did. And so when I first got the Steam Deck, I had the LCD to start it off. I didn't really use it all that much so we're gonna go with the Amber today. Because for me, it seemed repetitive, redundant. I had already been investing a lot of time and energy in playing my Nintendo Switch, and so when it came to the Steam Deck, I didn't quite understand its place. And so it ended up getting sold. But this guy, over these past few months, has changed a lot for me, as we've talked at length. The game that actually sold it to me, the one that like really brought me in, was a game that's not only available on the Nintendo Switch, but also available on PlayStation 5, Xbox. It's available everywhere and anywhere in between. And it was also a remake of a game that was originally released on the PSP, PlayStation Portable. Which is the reason why I think it did so well in handheld form factor, is because when it was originally released on PlayStation Portable, it was a game that was intended to be played in short spats, right? It was Crisis Core, right? Also known as Final Fantasy VII Reunion, or Final Fantasy Reunion. Looking back here, because it used to be back there. Now it's down here. What is it called? Crisis Core. Still called Crisis Core. Okay, cool. Still Crisis Core. But that game is done in missions, so you can go on a little mission, do your thing, and call it a day. So whether you're commuting to work or whatever it may be, you can play in tiny little spats. That game paired with this device running the way it did, looking the way it did, and having the story it also had, was the very game that sold me on this, the Steam Deck. It wasn't anything spectacular. It wasn't Resident Evil 4. It wasn't Horizon Zero Dawn. It was a game that was remade. Granted, Horizon Zero Dawn, I mean, it's a PlayStation 4 game, so I guess it does have technically better graphics than Crisis Core did, but still, it wasn't anything spectacular. But what it did for me was absolutely transformative as a dad gamer. And I wouldn't have even tried to do this if it wasn't for these cups and it wasn't for you guys. It showed me that there was more than this when it came to portable gaming. When it came to truly on-the-go, flexible location gaming, there was more out there than just this. And for a lot of time, I thought that this was the only way, this being my Nintendo Switch OLED. I thought that this was the only way to truly get that experience of playing full games, not little tiny cloud-based stream games, but true native on the device, connected or not, full games at its intended resolution, right? It is being played the proper way. And as time went on, I was like, man, this thing is struggling to maintain that. When this came in and I was playing those, I was like, this is it. And so my excitement was over the top. I mean, you guys can see I made like 9 videos in a row, and I'm still making videos about it because it has revived an otherwise dead hobby. One that I thought I had to give up because, that's a good cup of coffee, because it was just time to move on. I was being pulled in so many directions. I could no longer make the videos I wanted to make. As far as client work is concerned, all of my clients were starting to end their contracts with me, and I was at a point where I'm like, well, this is it. No more YouTube, no more video games, time to sell everything off to make ends meet and just make do with whatever's left over. I'll keep my Nintendo Switch, I'll play a game here and there, and we're good to go. Since November 1st, when I decided to kind of just let it all go, everything changed. I decided, let's take a step back away from the algorithm. Let's stop making highly produced videos that yield low results because you're trying to feed a machine, and instead, let's try to connect with just a couple people out there that are maybe struggling the way you are. I, being a dad who stays at home with 2 children on a regular basis, living in the state of California, not making enough money to make ends meet, and working tirelessly on something that is almost 100% contingent on the viewers. Let's just take a step back, throw that all out, and just kind of try to enjoy these next 30 days before December to January time when it's all done. Let's throw it out, and we'll just start on a fresh journey. Very close. And as stuff progressed, I realized, hey, maybe there are a few other people out there. Maybe there are a few dads out there that are struggling, that are feeling the weight of the world while also trying not to let that weight of the world be felt by their children. They do not want their children to feel the weight of the world. It is not their time. It is their time to enjoy, not to endure. Not yet, at least. Maybe there's other dads out there that feel like staying home with the kids all day long, they don't feel like they're suited for it. They feel less than. They feel like they don't have the tools to properly deliver on the promise, which is to make everyone happy, whatever it may be. Whoever they think they are. Not whoever they think they are, or whatever promise they think exists. As much as it doesn't. No one's expecting you to make everyone happy all the time, but that pressure still is placed upon you. Maybe someone else out there can relate to me. And the comments started flooding. People started commenting, hey, I'm right here. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I feel. Holy smokes, you too? And this was born. There's cups. We went from Julian Melnick to caffeine and consoles, back to Julian Melnick, all of the things in between, because identity for me was such a huge thing. I thought, well, maybe if this is no longer about me and about coffee, it's caffeine and consoles. But this little sucker ruined it all for me completely. Because this isn't a console, this is a PC. And, well, this thing has pretty much convinced me that aside from a Nintendo device, as long as it's still portable, I'm pretty much just going to buy everything on PC. That's pretty much where I'm at. PlayStation 5, bye-bye. I don't really need you anymore because I have Chiaki for deck eventually when I install it. Haven't done it yet, but I can play the PlayStation 5 single-player narrative games I want to play. Final Fantasy 16 is eventually going to come to it, so I'm good. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth is going to eventually come to it, so I'm good. All the games that I want to play on this, I'm good. And the games I don't want to play on this, that I can't get on this legally, I can just play here. Well, as time went on, I'm like, holy smokes, maybe we found something here. Maybe over the past 2 years of me struggling to figure out what I wanted, all I wanted to talk about was my excitement for video games, and here is the excitement, this portable thing. And that's really where we've landed over these past few months. November 1st was the rebirth of this. How appropriate. But over these past few weeks, I think we've all felt it. Getting a little repetitive. Running out of things to say. How many times can someone say, hey, I love the Steam Deck? Like the Steam Deck. Love people, not things. Well, I'll be honest with you. It was about 5 videos ago. There's not much more to say about this. It's great. You should buy one. There you go. As simple as that. But I'm not done here. This isn't enough. There's more to talk about. There's always more to talk about. Nintendo is going to launch an inevitable next-gen console, and that's going to be a fun thing to talk about, and it falls in line with the very thing that I want to talk about, which is flexible location gaming. Flexi-lock, as I call it. This is really the theme here. Us as dads have needs. And without going into areas where we can't talk about it in a public forum, we're just going to stick to video games. Our needs are very simple because us as men are very simple. Flexibility. We just need the ability to be able to access our libraries in the most convenient way. A lot of us work plenty of hours and just don't have the time to lock ourselves in a beautiful library and sit down while everyone else around you is screaming. And sure, at nighttime, there's always time to play. Kids go to bed, you have your you time. But what if you're not like everyone else? What if you're like me, who wakes up at 4:30 every morning to work out, read your Bible, have some meditation time, and eventually make a nice, delicious paleo breakfast? What if that's your morning routine? Or on, I believe it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays, stream at 5:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. on JDX Coffee. Link in the description. What if you're that person? What if you want to have a better circadian rhythm and you don't want to use your screens past 8 or 9 p.m. because you know that you're going to be in bed between 10 and 11? You want to make sure that that light isn't entering your brain, and you want to start calming down by either reading real books, comic books, or a Kindle or some sort of e-reader that is mimicking paper, not an iPad or a phone. What if the evening time is the time that you want to spend with your spouse? Or maybe just have some time to write a story or work on a craft. That makes sitting in your office no longer really a reality. Maybe it makes sitting in front of a TV in your living room not a reality because you don't want to prioritize the very device that maybe your spouse is using. Or you don't have a TV in your living room because you decided that that media belongs behind closed doors and the living room is for conversation and for play. Whatever. That is the person that I'm trying to talk to, because I don't play late at night. I just don't. I've done it before. One of my best friends lives in a state that's an hour and ahead, and we had seasons where we played until midnight. I never enjoyed the way I felt afterwards because I am not on that side of the clock. I'm on the rising side of the clock, not the setting side of the clock. I prefer a 4:30, 5:30 a.m. wake up time to a 11:30 to 1 a.m. sleepy time. I also don't have the luxury of waking up late, so even if I was to go to bed at midnight, I'd still be woken up at around 6 a.m. by one of the two children, going, "Hey, I'm awake now." So it really doesn't benefit me to try to stay up late to play video games. I just do much better in the morning time. Part of the reason why I want to stream in the mornings is because it's a dedicated time for me to play video games and have somewhat odd communication. It's not real, like interpersonal, but it's like, is it parasocial? I don't know what you would call it. Digital relationships? Here's the deal. I like doing it. Please, everybody show up to the first stream tomorrow morning, Tuesday, April 2nd. You've missed it. You missed it. You're going to be showing up to the next one, which will be announced here on this channel sometime today. Sorry, you've missed it. But if you want to watch it, go ahead over to JDX Coffee. All of this, again, has been discovered over the past 100 cups. These 100 cups have been so amazing. And I know what you're thinking. This guy seems really animated. And he seems like he's working up something to announce. And for once, I can announce nothing. There's no general announcement. There's no like, hey, things are changing again. They aren't. I think that I found something pretty special here. A conversation piece, something for us to talk about as dads, a place for us to come as we are and either encourage each other or listen to each other. And the most important part is to hear someone else saying something that we feel. That's huge. And just because we speak the language of video games doesn't mean that we're only tied to that. Now, am I going to get on here and teach you how to barbecue on the Traeger? No, as much as I'd love to. Because even though I think that I'm trying to break some of the rules in this loosey-goosey YouTube space, I also understand that you're here for a specific purpose. You're here because you're a gamer dad. That's fine. Sure, we'll talk about things here and there. We'll talk about our kids or whatever it may be. But realistically, you're here because gamer dad, right? Some of you are here because it's gamer dad and you know that I love Jesus. And so that's something that's important to you. Awesome. It's important to me too. And so that's something that needs to be said on a somewhat regular basis. But most importantly, not most importantly, that is the most importantly, but most commonly, you're here because of these guys, the video game devices. You're probably here because of this, because I made such a stink about this guy, and you're like, well, maybe I should get a Steam Deck too. You should. It's pretty tight. But I will say this. This place isn't an Xbox channel. It's not a Steam Deck channel. It's not a Nintendo channel. It's not a PC channel. This place is a dad who is doing everything he can to serve his family and maintain a healthy hobby of playing video games with the very devices that are created to facilitate a good, healthy gaming relationship. That's fair, right? We can say that. We can say that the Steam Deck allows for that. Because of the flexible location gaming it grants, you can play your video games anywhere in the house. You can play your video games any part of the day. Maybe you're on a lunch break at work and you want to whip out your deck and your friends are like, whoa, that's a pretty sweet deck. And you're like, I know, it's the Glock deck. I could have messed that up so much. And they're like, wow, I really have deck envy. And you look at them and say, I know. I'm a deck daddy. It's real simple. Get yourself a fat deck like mine and you'll have a great time. It's as true as the day is bright, okay? Let's just be honest. But I digress. This is not a Steam Deck channel, and it's not a Nintendo. It's not a dedicated game device channel, because we know what happens when that is decided. We're seeing it. I lost my soul to Xbox, and when I decided I didn't want to use it anymore, very quickly did everyone kind of scatter. Rightfully so. I had made a promise to them. That promise was that we were going to talk about Xbox, and I stopped delivering. I just watched a episode of the Nintendo podcast, the most recent one, where Wood gets very transparent about his feelings about the future of the podcast as well as Nintendo, and how as a Nintendo YouTuber this year is one of the most challenging years for him because there is only so much to say about something that's been out for so long and there's nothing new. And boy, oh boy, do I feel that with stuff like this when I keep repeating myself over and over again, but I enjoyed the transparency and I drew a lot of inspiration from that. The inspiration was, we are not tied to the device. The reason why I am such a fan of the deck is because it actually delivers on the promise that I feel like it's stating, which is an easy, flexible gaming solution. Great job. The reason why I'm such a fan of Nintendo is because it delivers on the very same thing, but you add the word nostalgic somewhere in there. An easy, flexible, nostalgic gaming solution. Easy. That's why these things are so powerful to me. The reason why I want to explore PC gaming is because it is the completion of this gaming solution. As I ditch the consoles, the extra ones, PlayStations and Xboxes and stuff like that, I look to still have that performance somewhere. Plus, there are games I want to play that I just can't play on this. I don't know why I've always wanted to play Valorant, but I do want to play Valorant, so I'm gonna need a PC for that. It's also a frontier that I don't know, and I'm pretty dissatisfied with the amount of money required to maintain my Apple computing, so I want to explore other options. I may hate it, I may love it, I may feel neutral about it, and I may change my mind multiple times over the next couple dozen, triple dozen, 50, 100 videos. That's just the way that things go here. I'm someone who's trying to discover, and in my discovery comes excitement and disappointment. And in this journey, I strive to maintain those things in a somewhat equal balance and try not to jump the gun and rush it, but yeah, it happens. And so you know, and you're probably well aware of this by now, it's important to make thumbnails and titles a little bit baity. Now, I don't mean the clickbait in the traditional sense, but I have to say stuff that's somewhat kind of shocking. Otherwise, you're just going to pass it over for the next Mr. Beast video. I mean, sure, I'd rather watch a train explode into a billion parts for 4 minutes than some random dad talk for 27 minutes about the Steam Deck for the 19th time. I get it. But that's who I'm competing with. I'm competing with him, I'm competing with Wood, I'm competing with Bob, I'm competing with all these guys. Now, I don't look at them as competitors, but I am competing for your attention. I appreciate the people who are going to watch regardless and drink your cups of coffee or cups of tea with me every time something releases. And I thank you so much for the 100 cups that you've joined me with, or however many you've joined me. And I hope to see you for another 100. But that's why things change a little bit. That's why I get a little weird with the comments and stuff like that. I think that over the past 100 cups, I've grown quite a bit. I think that my passion for this has certainly been more realized, but most importantly, I think that I've learned a balance that I didn't have before. I think I've been able to actually define what I like about gaming, and I wasn't able to do that before. I feel like I actually know who I'm talking to out there. dads, right? You may not be a dad, but it's more of a mindset. You're an individual who finds yourself looking to others as someone who you want to be more responsible for. That didn't sound perfect, but I think you get the point. You're not a selfish individual. You're someone who is very, very aware of your surroundings. You're someone who looks out and sees others and is aware that there may be needs for you to help, and therefore some of your own pleasures you're willing to sacrifice because you see that it is more pleasurable to help someone than it is to serve yourself. That's not just dads. That can apply to just normal people who aren't parents. That can apply to women too. Not just dudes, but also girls. Anyone can be this. Dad is but a state of mind, right? And especially the way that I look at it. It is just a servant. That's all a dad is. If you want to be a dad in the channel, though, you can be a member. It's $4.99. You should join. It's pretty sick. Goal is to get to 1,500 members so that my wife can quit her job. Cool. That's kind of what I've learned over these past 100 days. No, it's not 100 days, more than 100 days, but 100 cups. I'm not changing anything. What you can expect, though, I think should be stated. 1, you can expect that more gaming-centric live streams, not just long-winded rants about how I feel about things. That's going to be more reined in, but rather gaming-centric live streams, whether it's choosing a game and finishing it together, or playing and hopping around different things to test this as well as this and maybe something else. Building a PC will be happening on a regular basis, but that will be happening 100% on JDX Coffee, also known as JD Coffee. That channel is my streaming channel. I have seen what happens here when I stream. It pretty much shadows any work that I do otherwise. That's 1. 2, you can expect these cups to continue. I am going to continue making cups of coffee, right? Now, these cups may not be happening as frequently because I want to make sure that the cups are all tasty. I feel like these cups are being stretched and they're getting diluted, and I don't like that. So you'll have to bear with me as I figure out what's the proper thing. As of now, nothing changes. You'll see a cup tomorrow. And so on. In the moment I decide what a different schedule will be, it'll be announced in a cup, in a post, on a live stream, and completely continue there on out. Here is the addition, though. Well, 1 is I'm not going to be doing any cups over the weekend because I need a break, but this is the big one. I have been wanting to bring back curated videos. I've really been wanting to. So this week I'm working on one all week long, and it'll be the first non-cup video posted, and it comes out on Sunday. Sundays every week from here on out will be the release. Same time, 9 a.m. That's what I'm going to try to hold to is 9 a.m. 9 a.m. on Sundays, you'll get a video. It's just a normal video, not a cup. There's going to be edits. There's going to be different things. There's going to be different scenes. It's going to be a thing. But I'm excited to bring those back because I miss them and I want to work on those. The last thing is this is now, as of today, today's April 1st. You're seeing this April 2nd. This is 100% the only way I make money. I make any sort of income. Through this, t-shirts, merch, channel subscriptions, ad revenue, likes and subscribes. That's it. And so, if you're a fan of this and you support it, there are plenty of different ways, whether it's buying a shirt, just liking and subscribing, whatever it may do, this is it. I have to make it work. It will work. It is going to work. I will not give up because against all odds, the fact that I have a full house all the time, I don't have time to make a lot of videos, I don't have time to work on a business, I don't have any of these times, it's going to work. We're going to do this because I need it and the dads out there need it. They need to see that there are other dads around still doing the thing, still loving their very hobby that they have since they were kids, and still doing it all with this smile on their face. No depression. Sure, life's hard. I wake up and I go, how the heck am I going to get through this? And I just try to grind through it and go. But at the end of my day, there's a fulfillment that exists because I know that I've provided for myself, my family, everyone. That is truly the most important thing that exists, regardless of how hard it is. I feel like the difficulty is good. As a video that you should look up by Jocko Willink called Good goes, all adversity is good because there is something that will come out of it that you will learn from. All, even the worst of the worst, is still to be looked at as good. And so in this time where we're just getting through it and figuring it all out, I challenge you to look at any challenge you have and look at it with the same kind of perspective. Good. Know that there are people out there, dads out there, that are going, oh, I don't know how I'm going to make this work. But this is good. This is real good. I'm excited to make my 101st cup, to make memories with you guys, to live stream, and to be able to put 100% of my work focus into this very thing that we've created. This is such a cool thing. And I've really never been more excited. There's an ebb and flow in views, there's an ebb and flow in subscribers, but there's not an ebb and flow in need. The need is for us dads to look at each other, whether it's digitally or in real life person, as my daughter quotes Bluey, for real life, in real life, to look at each other and say, I see you, Dad. You're doing the thing, and that's all that matters. So, from the bottom of my heart, truly, I see you, Dad. You're doing the thing, and that's all that matters. And, as always, it's been almost 3 years of this. Happy gaming. That was a good one. I'm stoked on that.